Hi, my name is Kate Pruner, and today we're talking about the difference quotients with polynomials. So the first problem we're going to do here is x squared plus 4x minus 6, just a basic polynomial. Here's the equation here. It's f and then parentheses x plus h minus f of x plus h, or f of x, excuse me, over h. So what we're going to do first thing is going to be plugging in this f of x to where f of x is. So we're going to go ahead and start off by plugging that in, and that's going to look like this. We're going to have x squared, f plus x, and all of that is going to be squared because, again, we're plugging this into here. And then we're going to do, make sure you can see this, plus 4 parentheses x plus h, because, again, this is all being plugged into here. And then this minus 6 that we've got here. Then we're going to subtract f of x, which is this entire thing. So we're going to put a parenthesis around it, and it's going to be x squared plus 4x minus 6, close parentheses. So, and then all of this is going to be divided by h. So now we have this plugged into this formula here. And then the next step is going to be to simplify. Now, the number one common mistake that a lot of people make is forgetting to prioritize our parentheses here and just simplifying too quickly. We have to make sure we're using our, simplifying our parentheses correctly. Like, for example, x squared, we don't want to just square x. It's not going to be x squared plus h squared. That's not how it's going to be. We need to make sure that we do x plus h times x plus h, because this entire thing is squared, and then we factor this out. So we're going to go ahead and simplify each of these parentheses going section by section. That way we don't get confused, because, again, very common mistake. So what we're going to do is we're going to get x squared plus 2xh, because, again, we're multiplying all of that out, plus h squared. There's the difference there. I'm going to move this up so it's not in our way. So then we're going to do minus 6, because this, mess that up. No, so we have x squared plus 2hx plus h squared. Then we're going to do 2 plus 4x, because we're multiplying this 4 out to each of these, plus 4h. Okay, and then minus 6, because we just bring that minus 6, because right now we're just focusing on simplifying our parentheses. Let's move that over so it's not glaring. Okay. And then we have got, this is just going to come down, but they're all going to be negative. So negative x squared, because we're multiplying this, you could talk about it as a -1, but we're multiplying that negative out, making all of our things following negative. So squared minus 4x plus 6, because negative, positive. Again, this is all going to be over h. Okay, so our next step is to simplify each of these together. So we're going to want to bring our x squared together, our singular x's, our h squareds, all of that stuff, and simplify it down so we can solve it a little bit easier. So once we add all of this stuff together, once we add it correctly, we're going to get 2xh plus h squared plus 4h. Because if we look here, this 4x is a positive, this 4x is a negative. This is a positive x squared. We got a minus 6 plus 6. So that leaves us with this, this, and this. So hopefully that makes sense for everybody. And then, so now, and again, this is all over h. So then we're going to go ahead and simplify this even further. And we're going to factor out this h squared. So we're going to, after we factor that out, we get h on the outside of our unit. It's going to be x, make sure you guys can still see this, x plus h plus 4 over h, because we factored an h squared out of each of these. So you factor this out, factor that out, factor one of these out, and this is what you're left with. Then we can go ahead and simplify these, cross each other out, because h divided by h is just 0. So we are left with our answer, which is 2x plus h plus 4. And that is our answer. That is how you solve the difference quotients of polynomials dealing with a squared function. The second one we're going to do is a little bit difficult, and that's going to be a cubed function. We want to make sure that we're able to solve multiple different kinds of problems. So I'm going to leave our formula up here in the corner, and I'm going to write down our new problem. Our new problem is going to be x to the third. So again, we're doing cubed, minus 6x squared plus 11x minus 6. So we have a lot more going on here. This is all equal to f of x. We need to make sure to remember. So we're going to solve it the same exact way. We want to make sure that we are setting it up in order to solve it correctly. What we're going to do first is we're going to plug everything in. And so when we're plugging all this in, this is going to be a pretty long problem. But we got to make sure we do it all. So again, we're plugging this whole thing in for this x here. So we're going to get x plus h, because you add those together, and these are all cubed. Okay. And then the next thing, we're going to have the 6x. This is going to be 6x plus h squared plus 11x plus h, because again, we're f of x plus h. So we're having to do all of this plus h, each of them individually, minus 6, because there's no x with the 6, so we don't have to add an h. Then our second part of this, let's see, I'm going to run out of room here. We'll see if we can kind of write it down the side. So we're negative f of h. So we're going to get this entire thing is going to be negative. So x cubed minus 6x squared plus 11x minus 6. Okay, so this entire thing is just the same as that. And all of this is over h. Again, really common mistake people make is not like prioritizing those parentheses, just like adding that out. It's not just going to be x cubed plus h cubed. We've got to make sure we multiply these out. So when we're setting this up, we have to simplify everything. But first, let's go ahead and solve all of these parentheses. So we're going to get x cubed plus 3x squared h plus 3xh cubed plus h cubed. Excuse me, squared, not cubed. So this entire unit is going to multiply out to be this, because we are multiplying x plus h times x plus h times x plus h. And then you have to solve all that. And this is the solution there. So then we are going to move on to our next. So this here, we've got negative 6x squared, because again, we're multiplying this out. And then minus hx squared. Oh, this is cubed. I'm doing this wrong. Let's go back. So again, this is another common mistake. I didn't do the parentheses correctly. So perfect example of what you're not supposed to do. So we're going to take this out because it's cubed. We have to multiply the whole unit by each other. So what we're going to do is we're going to get negative 6x squared minus 12x h minus 6h squared, because we need to solve this entire thing out. We can't just factor this out because we have to multiply the 6 times h plus x times h plus x, because it's cubed. So that's where we get the 12hx from, is making sure we factor that out. And then I'm going to continue this down below. We'll just do a little arrow here, just to know that it's continuing onward. We just ran out of space. So our next unit that we're going to focus on is this here, which is not cubed. So it's just going to be 11x plus 11h minus 6, because we just bring that 6 down, no parentheses there. And then we're going to subtract. So we're factoring out this -1. We're multiplying that out. We're not just, it's minus the entire thing. So we need to make sure we're bringing that negative across all of our things there. So we're going to get negative x cubed plus, because that is 6x squared, and then minus 11x plus 6. And all of this is going to be over h. So this is one big long thing. We just couldn't fit it all. So then now it's time to simplify all of this out. So we're going to look for like things. So we've got a h cubed here. We've got an 6h squared. Yeah, so we just got to make sure we simplify this all out. So we got to take like we got a plus 6 here and a minus 6 here. So those cancel out. Once you continue on with all of that to save time, we'll go ahead and just write, it's going to be 3x squared h plus 3x squared plus h to the third minus 12x h minus 6h squared plus 11h. Again, all over h. So you can see here, we kept our 12h, we kept our h squared. This is a 6, that looks like 6h. So our h, or this here is going to be, you know, these cancel out. These cancel out, so on and so forth. So that's where we get all of this information from, is just simplifying all of that. So once we get this, we can factor out an h again from the entire system, and we're going to get, can you guys see that? Let's point this down a little bit. So we're going to get h on the outside, which is 3x squared plus 3x squared plus h squared minus 12x minus 6h, excuse me, 6h plus 11 is going to be our polynomial. And this is all over h. So again, these h's cancel out. So what we are left with is this unit here, which I'm going to point this down even more. What we are left with is 3x squared plus excuse me, this would be, I did this wrong. Again, another common mistake is not paying attention to what you're doing. So we've got 3, I accidentally cubed this x, it's actually this h that's cubed. So we've got a 3h x h because we factored that one out. So we're going to get x h plus 2, excuse me, plus h squared minus 12x minus 6h plus 11. And this is going to be our answer here. So you can see this one is a little bit more complex than the first one we did, just because of that cubed. It adds a lot more numbers that we have to be involved with and things like that. But, you know, this is really important because there's a lot of things like in day-to-day that we're going to have to do variables and understand different things, especially if you're going to finances or accounting or anything like that. There's going to be a lot of like math and a lot of things you're going to have to be able to solve doing that. And so again, like I said, some common mistakes is just really not paying attention to when these are cubed and squared and not making sure we're multiplying those out so we get the full you know, units that we need. So thanks so much.